should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Monday! Oh Lord, listen, you guys. Welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda. That is Abby. It is Monday, and this week is just already going by too quickly. Like it's too quick. I have so much to do in the next 48 hours, not even like less than, and I am tripping. Anyways, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It is zooming. It's zooming over here too. I can't believe that it's just Monday. I feel like so many things happened in one day. Like starting so early, I was in court in Baltimore so early, and I kept thinking I would have time to take a little nap in the middle of the day. Never happened. Just go, 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 go.
It's yeah. What up, Joslo? Hey, girl, hey. We are covering 90 Day Fiancé the other way, and it's season 7. We are on episode 12 right now, and I want to say it's Kaylee Payala is the name of the title of the episode. Could be saying it wrong, but that's what it is. Overall thoughts, Abby. Overall thoughts of this episode.
Man, like this episode was just kind of like cruising by, nothing like super duper significant happening until the last like 10 minutes. And then I was totally locked in on Luke saying the most revealing thing ever. I am constantly being disrespected by a 20-year-old. How revealing is that of who he is?
Oh, who he is. Ooh, let's get into it when we get to them. Because I have thoughts as well. I have thoughts as well. Manon and Anthony. You know, Manon, I really, you were like my favorite coming into this season. And I'm just rethinking a lot of things right now. Yeah. Anyways. They are going
Look, I think we're on the way to 2 really good conversations I didn't think were going to happen, but I'm going to be on Manon's side.
All right. Well, I mean, that is not surprising for our back and forth. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll do the breakdown and then we'll get into it. So they have a adult stay date. They both love cheese, which is a big part also of French culture. So goat cheese specifically, they have like a backstory on how they love goat cheese back in the United States. So they're going to go to a fromagerie, which is basically just technically a cheese, like a winery, but for cheese. But instead, Anthony took it like one step further and thought he was doing something by like, let's go to the source. So they're actually going to a goat farm, which I thought was a great idea. So that they can have the authentic cheese experience. And from the jump, Manon was not a fan. She's not a fan of farms. She's not a fan of dirt. She's not a fan of smells. She's not a fan of mud. She's just not a fan of anything. She literally freaks out, goes from 0 to 100, screaming that there's mud everywhere. And then, did you bring me to an effing farm? The smell, she's complaining. She's that's how she sounded to me. I was just like, wow, just off the jump. Your husband plans a date that may or may not have been what you wanted, but isn't it supposed to be about the time you guys are spending together and bonding and reconnecting since you were already having problems in your marriage? But here we are. He planned something, but it's not up to your standards and what you want. And so now you're complaining. So the farmer comes out and is kind of trying to like welcome them to his farm. They want to go and milk some goats, but she's not having it. So she starts freaking out again. And I just thought she was being over dramatic. I thought she was just really being way too much for my personal liking. So Anthony goes and he has the experience. He calls the goats out. He feeds the goats, the whole thing. He does the whole situation just like a farmer. And Manon is continuing to be extra dramatic, in my opinion, about the mud in her shoes and walking over the mud and freaking out. Finally, they get to the point where they get to taste the cheese. And the farmer Florent brings the cheese over. They eat the cheese. She loves it. He goes to feed her again and she's complaining, oh, wait, I'm not finished. Ah! Like the whole time, she just had a nasty attitude as far as I'm concerned, just nasty. And we find out in this segment that Anthony really likes the farm idea of making cheese, and he's thinking like long term, maybe like they do it as a hobby or whatever. And she's like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that is not what I like to do. This is not my world, and I still come out here for you. Well, yeah, you're coming out here, but you're complaining and you're trying to make it a terrible experience for the both of you. And she goes on to say that she's tired of him playing games, and this date wasn't for them, it was for himself, because it wasn't something that she wanted. And I just think that she is screaming spoiled brat. I think that she's screaming unappreciative. I think that she's screaming, we can't compromise and do something. Maybe one day you do something your husband likes and he does something that you like and you go back and forth. Maybe you do something that you guys like together, but there's a way to have a great experience, even if it's something that you weren't expecting. Those are my thoughts.
I think Manon is rude to the farmer. So that's something that I would be critical of. The farmer has no idea what's going on here, so there's no need to approach him with the, what are we doing here? Why am I here? Like the way that she was with him. But everything else, I think the problem that Manon is having is that oftentimes we expect women to simply be grateful for any kinds of piece of romance, a piece of effort, as opposed to going completely into what you would like. If you say, I'm taking you on a date to do something that you would like, I think that you would like, then it should be something that I like. If you say, hey, we're going to try a new experience, that's different from I'm going to take you on a date to something that you would like. And he specifically said, this is going to be something that you would like. He also didn't give her an opportunity to dress appropriately for the event. And when you're not dressed appropriately for something, that can like really throw you off. That's happened to me before. I've been told we're going to a nice concert, dressed up nice for it. And it turns out it was like one of those Hot 97 concerts with a bunch of different performers. Everybody's in jeans and I was in a nice dress and heels. That's very uncomfortable. I've also had the experience where somebody keeps buying me, actually my ex-husband, every holiday that passed, he would buy me a bag, like a nice Coach bag or a Chanel bag. Have you ever seen me with a purse? No, you haven't. So I kept saying, like, this is not for me. This is because you want people to know that you bought it. Like, buy me something functional. I asked for new windshield wipers, right? Like, get something that I actually want to enjoy, not something that just makes you feel good for buying it. So I think that while Manon can be a bit abrasive, I think that the bigger issue is we expect women to accept whatever. If the man's doing any small bit of thing, that we expect them to accept it. And we especially expect for fat women to expect any crumbs that they get.
Oh, okay. So I understand what you're saying, and some of it rings true to me. Some of it does, in my opinion, does not apply to Manon at all. I'm going to take a couple of comments from Faziz. Goat screams are so much less grating than Manon's wails. Facts. And kind of reiterating what I said earlier, sometimes you have to do like dates you like, and sometimes you have to do dates your husband likes. I love to go to museums and art galleries, and my husband likes dinner dates and hiking, exploring dates, which is what I'm trying to say. He thought he was doing something great because they both love goat cheese and they bonded over goat cheese. He thought he was taking it one step further by going to the source. So I don't think he was like, oh, this is going to be for just me. He thought he was doing something for both of them. To just extend a little bit on what you were saying, I don't think that this is about giving crumbs of love to Manon. Anthony clearly loves her. He clearly loves her. I think that she just it can be selfish and wants things her way and the only way. And she's used to being the provider. She's used to being the one that brings in all the things. So she's also used to being the one that makes the decisions, right? Because especially if you have that type of dynamic, the person that bringing in the money is going to think that they're making the decisions. And now they're in a situation where she can't just make all the decisions while she carries her Chanel bag and think that she's just going to go fancy, fromagerie tasting at some fancy place, because that's what she thought it was going to be. That's why she's not open to renting. That's why she's not open to staying at the house a little bit longer and saving more money. She wants all the fancy things. She wants all the material stuff, because in her mind, having the material stuff somehow validates who she is as a person, period and full stop. So I don't agree with her behavior at all. I thought it was very, very selfish and very, very just like spoiled brat. I want what I want, and that's it. There was no compromise, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, what would have changed things for me is if he gave her, number one, the opportunity to dress appropriately. He saw what she got dressed in and allowed her to get into the vehicle and go to the place. Like, remember, like the very first thing you have to do always is set your partner up for success. When he saw what she was wearing and he knows where they're going, you're already setting her up for failure. How's she even going to begin to be comfortable in what you're doing? And then I think the other thing would have been, don't say I'm taking you on a date to go do something that you would like, because it's very clear he knows, she doesn't like farms, she doesn't like smells, like they know that. So he should have said, hey, I'm taking you on this experience. It's going to be something new. It's going to push your boundaries a little bit, but you're going to like how it ends. Like, give your partner the ability to be successful in what you're doing. Don't just decide, I'm going to tell you one thing and take you to do something else.
Yeah, but I don't think he said we're doing something that you like. He said we're going to do something that we like. And the we was goat cheese.
But he knows that she does not enjoy farms. He knows that she doesn't enjoy being dirty. And he knows that what she was wearing was not appropriate for where they were going.
Yeah.
And that's just me, because when I got picked up for the date that I just told you about, like, you see what I'm wearing. Why didn't you say, oh, actually, I've been to this several times before and people really just kind of like wear jeans here? Like, allow the person that you're with to be comfortable and be successful too.
Yeah. I mean, that's all fair, but also just don't be a spoiled brat. How about that? Don't be a spoiled brat.
Well, I mean, my feelings about that are, you're allowed to be who you were at the time that you got married. So if that's who she was when they got married, then that's who he married. He doesn't get to marry her and then require her to compromise. You know what I mean? So if that's who he married and that's how she always was, it has to be the way that I enjoy it, then that's who you married, Anthony. Now, I don't know that. Did she become that over time? I don't think so. It seems a very ingrained part of her personality. But you don't get to marry someone and then say, now you must compromise with me.
This sounds like a bigger discussion. I don't know who she was when they got married, but I do know marriages are compromises. No one's ever going to be fully able to do just whatever they want all the time. I think marriages are partnerships and marriages are compromises. If you are saying you marry someone's personality and that's who you got, then I can agree with that. But what you're not going to be is demanding and screaming in my face and all the stuff because you're having a temper tantrum, because that's what this was. It was a temper tantrum. And then she'll go back and feel bad about it. This is how she handles things, Abby, in my opinion. She freaks out and she goes all the way freaked out. And that, to me, is some trauma that she hasn't dealt with. Look how she had, I mean, her parents are a whole other story, but how she even handled that situation. It's almost like confrontation is her first go-to, rather than let's communicate and have a discussion. Instead, she goes from 0 to 100. In my personal opinion, that's it. I don't know. Let us know what you think in the live chat and in the replay. I'm
interested what you guys think about this one.
Yeah, same.
I'm always interested, but I'm especially interested in this one because I think from the blogs that I've been reading, I think that people just really hate Manon without putting any kind of thought into perhaps her perspective. And I think that she just gets a lot of hate for being a person who exists in a bigger body, who says what she wants. We expect people who are bigger to just accept things sometimes, and we expect women to just accept things sometimes. I think those two things are making it difficult for people to even consider her perspective, and also the fact that she is a little bit grating.
I really liked her. She was my favorite from the beginning. I just feel like since this move, her attitude has just been a little bit extra, and she's been a little bit more defensive and combative. But I think there's nothing wrong with being someone who is decisive, goal-oriented, entrepreneurial spirit, all of the things, strong woman, all of those things. I think those are all beautiful qualities to have. But to me, that's not what's showing up right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how this all pans out. Chloe and Johnny, they're hanging out with Michelle, Chloe's mom. And as we know from the last episode, Michelle really wants him to come back to Boston, and she'll do anything to make that happen, including throw money at it and say that she'll support them for X amount of time. It's like an open invitation. Come back to Boston. I will support you guys. I'll make Chloe a primary and give her a primary role in the company as we planned. You guys won't have to pay rent. You'll have a bright future, and yada, yada, yada. All the whole list goes on. I'll buy you guys to come back, period, full stop. And Johnny's like, no, I really love being by the water. You know, that's part of the reason why I love this here. And I think that what will make you feel more comfortable, Michelle, is if we get these partnership papers. And again, I still don't know what these partnership papers are. I've never heard of it legally in my life. They're not talking about a fiancé visa. They're not talking about a company sponsoring her. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Still confused about what she's talking about.
Yeah. So Michelle puts that out there again. And then the next day they have a beach day with Michelle. And here's something that I just thought was interesting. Chloe and Johnny and Michelle are at the beach. Chloe asked Johnny to go get some drinks, and then Michelle is paying for it. She pulls out her platinum Amex, and he is like enthralled by the Amex itself, just even the weight of the Amex. But then she's buying the drinks. I don't know. I had a thought on that. Did you have a thought on that, Abby, before I go on and on and on?
I mean, absolutely, because I was like, at the very least, since he's just saying like the day before, we want to do things ourselves, want to establish ourselves, why aren't you paying for the drink?
Yes. This shows me that you could probably be bought. Like, why are you? She's here for a couple of days. Buy a drink. It's not like you're buying a 5-course meal. Buy this woman a drink. Why is she paying for your drink and their drinks? Makes no sense.
That I would actually feel embarrassed if that was me. I would feel embarrassed.
Yeah. Blue Panda, hey, Blue Panda, back to our question of the day about how we feel about Manon and Anthony and their segment. Blue Panda thinks, I think she doesn't have to be so rude about everything.
Well, I think there's two things happening there. I think number one, most people in the world don't like when people are super direct with them. I think directness gets categorized as rude sometimes. I also think that when you're dealing with someone who speaks English as a second language, that you're not going to have as much flowery phrasing in the communication. The communication is going to be the words that need to be said. And she's not, as good as she is with her English, she's not a fluent English speaker. So I just don't think she's going to have the same please and thank you to her words as she might in French.
Maybe. Oh, thanks, Becca. Thanks, Josla, for the kind words. That's so sweet. Faziz is on a roll today. Faziz says, come up east. You can do Boston Tea Party reenactments and swing to throw tea into the harbor.
Right. I do want to say one thing that Chloe is wrong about. She mentioned that if they were to go through the immigration process for Johnny to come to the US, that they would have to be separated for some time and be long distance. And that's wrong. First of all, she has the advantage of money. And so a lot of times spouses end up being separated because, or the fiancés are separated because one has to stay in the States to work in order to afford the process. That's not her case. She also would automatically have a joint sponsor. Her mom is offering to do everything possible. So she doesn't need to show her own income for Johnny to be able to come to the US. Also, Johnny would be able to visit as a visitor. He wouldn't have to go through all of the hoops that people from some other countries have to go through in order to come and visit the United States. People from Aruba are able to come to the United States pretty easily. So they would not have a separation or a long distance relationship. She could either stay in Aruba the entire time that the process is going through, go to his interview with him, come back to the US with him, or he could spend some time on a visitor's visa in the United States. So that part was not accurate.
That's good information. Which is, what she was saying, that it would be harder for their relationship in the US. But what it really boils down to, so Abby is giving us the actual legal facts. So what it really comes down to in Chloe's situation is that she feels that they won't last long distance, but the root of her feeling that way is obviously there's trust issues still, right? We saw her following him. We know that there's some infidelity issues in the past. And then she tells her mom about the other girl and how Johnny took a girl for her birthday to Miami and misled Chloe. Now Chloe thinks he's cheated. We don't know for sure if he did. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We don't know, but those are the allegations. So there's a lack of trust, period. There's a lack of trust in this relationship. And that is the biggest issue. So Chloe thinks that if they do go back to Boston and there's a distance and all of that, she can't trust him. I mean, you guys remember just a few episodes back, there were cameras. And before she came, she was watching him on the cameras. She had his location on her phone. I can't imagine being in a relationship where you're first of all, how do you have the time? I was just talking about the day. I don't know where this week has gone and it's only Monday, but how do you have the time to actually live your life, but you're checking cameras, you're checking locations? That would drive me bonkers. No, thank you. And so I also do think that is an age thing. I think that that's showing a little bit of her immaturity, and maybe also lack of long-term relationship history.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells her mom is obviously upset about this. But Chloe says she's rebuilt trust in Johnny, but I don't believe that to be the case, because even when you got to Aruba, you're following him around. And
right. Well, we know that's not the case. Mm-hmm.
Having a girl swinging off the boat on his back, which is his job, makes you jealous. So I'm not sure which part you built up, but I'm not seeing it. And the mom is concerned. She's hoping that all of this jealousy and insecurity and lack of trust doesn't backfire in the relationship. It's hard to have a great foundation if you don't trust your partner, y'all.
Right. I want to talk about, just for a little bit, as a parent, is it even a good idea to make this kind of proposition? She just said she's working on her retirement. She wants things in place to be able to retire eventually. Is it a good idea to take on 2 people to work for your company, basically as a bribe to make them come back to the US?
If you're asking me, 100% no. 100%
yeah,
no.
I'm asking and the chat. I'm asking all of you guys, as a parent, are you gonna ever be that desperate for your child not to make their own mistakes and forge their own way that you would offer this kind of covering for them?
100% no. First of all, I'm not supporting a grown-ass man. I mean, what example are you setting for your daughter to say that, hey, this man, if you're doing any type of traditional type of relationship, which is looking what there is what they're doing, then this man is not going to be able to provide. Your mom is going to provide for this grown man for how long? And rent-free for how long? Because that's not reality. I understand wanting to set your children up for success, and especially if you have above means, if you are part of that 1%, I get that. And, good on you. They have a leg up. But guess what? When they crash and burn because lives and things happen, they crash and burn faster and harder because they've had no life experience. So they're shocked
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they go into the workforce and people are direct with them or correct them. They're like all like, what's happening? They're being mean to me. No, this is real life. Or something else happens and they don't know how to handle because they've never had that experience. I'm not saying go and fall on your face, but your children have to be able to make their own mistakes so they have their own life experiences and they can grow and learn. Not all mistakes are bad mistakes. Some are learning experiences, some are growth experiences, and some things just teach you to be a better person and not put yourself in that position anymore. So absolutely not. Go ahead and think about your retirement. You raised your baby. You'll always be there to protect them, but there's a fine line between protecting and being overbearing because you want them to do what you want to do and live the life that you want for them instead of the life they want for themselves.
Right. What I would say to Chloe, if she was my daughter, is there is a relationship that you can be in that does not require you to second guess what that person is doing all the time. That relationship is out there. It might be platonic, it might be romantic, it might be with yourself, it might be with another person, but it's available. And if you are choosing to stay in this one, then you can't pursue that one.
Absolutely. Becca says, I wish my mom would have told me it was okay to make mistakes. I think I would be more successful, ironically. Fair.
Oh, no, that's true. Like a lot of us were not really taught how to date. We were not allowed to date. And I think that is to the detriment of most of us because we weren't allowed to experiment and say, I like this, I don't like this, I like that, I don't like that. And instead, at least for me growing up religious, it was, I need to hurry up and get married to the first person I have sex with so that I can atone for all of my sins with zero consideration of what actually is a good fit for me, what works for my life. Is this person a good partner to me? Did they treat me right? I wasn't allowed to explore those kind of boundaries. It was just all about confining your sexual being, and so that does not lead to good relationship decisions.
Yep. We're moving on to Jenny and Smith. These two doorknobs. Okay, so first I want to address there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and Jenny's daughter has been addressing it throughout the week. There's been some rumors that Jenny had a health scare. Some were saying it was a heart thing. Some were saying it's a stroke, all of that stuff. And Jenny's daughter is saying absolutely not. Those are not true. They're rumors and not to believe the rumors. So I just wanted to reiterate what she is trying to explain to people. That being said,
you call them doorknobs.
I did because I just don't even, this whole cafe situation, I feel like it's freaking frack running around making no sense. Like I just don't know what's happening here. And I don't know how this is going to be successful if we're just running amok. So goodness, we get there. The parents are cooking in the kitchen. Jenny's figuring out the coffee machine. She starts choking everywhere, you guys. And you know how I feel. Like you just can't be so gross when you're serving the public food. She's choking in the air that they're cooking. It's Okay, so that's how it opened up. And so you guys know I get distracted. So I'm thinking about all the things, right? Like, are you coughing on the coffee beans and then you're gonna grind them up? Like I'm having that whole you guys, it takes me a long time to watch these episodes because I have to pause it and let all these thoughts and like, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this? Because it makes no sense. Anyways, she's choking. But they feel like the business is doing okay. They have a few customers here and there. And then Rohit, the hater 2x4, shows up. And he heard that Sumit opened up a cafe. And he was all butthurt that he didn't get invited to the inauguration, which I thought was a very strong word to use. Inauguration. See the opening? I don't know if I would parallel that and say it was an inauguration, but okay. He takes a dig at Jenny and says, "Oh, I want to order some spaghetti." "Oh, what? There's no spaghetti," which I thought was a little funny. It was petty, like 50-cent petty, but it was funny. Jenny offers him coffee. "Would you like to buy a coffee?" And he's like, "How much is it?" And a small and a large is 70 or 90 rupees, which is equivalent to 82 cents for a small or $1.05 for a large. And Sumit says no. Not Sumit. Rohit says no. That's too expensive. I was like, this little cheap little haterade. What? It's not too expensive. You're just being a hater. Jenny doesn't trust him. She thinks he's here to judge the business, bring in negative energy, which she's right. That's exactly what he was doing, because he goes to meet with Sumit and they sit down and he just goes in on him. He says, there's no one there. He has no customers. This is a bad idea. You are not going to succeed in this. You haven't succeeded in the past. He just goes in on him. I'm like, why have enemies when you have friends like that?
Exactly.
Your mama didn't teach you to, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. You didn't get that memo? He did
not get that memo.
You drove, or however you got there, you commuted to your friend's business just to hate on him? That's amazing. It's amazing. I keep saying, I don't know how y'all have time to do like stupid stuff. That's just the stupid stuff.
He made time. He said, "You didn't invite me to the inauguration. I did not get to be blessed by the holy water and cow piss, so I'm going to make you pay."
Facts. So Jenny comes and gives him a free coffee. She makes a little dig at him like, "Oh, do you tip?" Right? Because, he's being super cheap about an 82-cent coffee. And Jenny thinks he's jealous. And she thinks he's jealous because she thinks that he hasn't succeeded in any of his business ventures. So he's coming here to tear them down, and specifically tear down Sumit. Now, here's where I thought he went way too low. So not only is he saying like, you have no, this is a bad idea and you have no customers and yada, yada, yada. He knows that Sumit's weak spot is his parents, right? Pleasing his parents, living with his parents, having his parents' approval, all of those things. We know that is Sumit's weak point. Anything for his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rohit knows this too. So he's like, and you have your parents working at this age? First of all, low blow. Second of all, it's called the family cafe or whatever, it's the whole family. And they sat down, they all decided they wanted to be a part of it. No one's forcing the parents to cook. That's what they want to do. They want it to be a family business. So Rohit, you can keep your silly ideas and the way you're trying to make this man feel terrible about his decisions because you were in the same business and you failed, is keep your nonsense to yourself. Keep your bad business to yourself. You knew he was going to start a business because he came and bought or rented whatever, some equipment from you. So like, why are we acting surprised and brand new right now?
Right.
He doesn't want them to succeed. And literally says to Kamut that this is not a real business and it will close soon. And Sumit's like, no, I don't agree with you. I think that we were in a great area. Our business idea, the family cafe, is really about the students, and students are away from home and they want to have that sense of family and community and comfort. So these family and comfort foods are going to make them feel at home. And I was like, you know what, Sumit, in all the 10 plus years that we've known you, that is probably the smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
Absolutely. It was. It was a very beautiful explanation of why they decided to do this. And honestly, like his parents are not ill, they're not having difficulty moving around. So what's wrong with if they want to be involved, being involved? Simon's moving around with more efficiency than Jenny. So like allow them to be active as long as they want to be.
100%. And she's like 10 years younger than Jenny's, and she's a yogi. So I think she's fine. And if she wasn't fine, we all know that Sadna will not do anything that she doesn't want to do. So we
exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I just wish could y'all just get a little bit more organized. That's you got to be.
I mean, you're saying like you want them to be more organized. I just don't think they're going to ever have the hygiene that would make me want to go there.
Oh well,
it just doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing that they possessed.
I absolutely not. For me, you guys already like for me, absolutely not. But I'm just saying, for them, I want them to be a little bit more organized. Be organized. Jenny shouldn't be learning how to make coffee before they open. She should have been practicing and continuing to practice and stay later. And you all have a menu and decide what you're going to make and get like just, prep, get organized. Right. Why do you have to be all like, this one's coughing all over the place because she doesn't like the smells, Put a mask on and wear some gloves. Ugh.
Right. She's been there so long. How is she not used to all the smells?
I don't get it. And last and certainly not least in this episode, Madeline and Luke. Jocelyn says Jenny can't make change, let alone coffee. I'm going to let you start with your opinion on Madeline first.
So we see that Luke has been making overtures. I like to work that into a sentence. Overtures to get Madeline back. And his latest one is bringing her a dog that she expressed interest in. And it seems as though, this dog is going to smooth things over until they end up getting into an argument, which seems to start with Luke complaining that she doesn't help with the dog, like taking care of it. Madeline fires back, you leave your boxers everywhere, seeming to imply like I'm cleaning up other things, so it's okay if you're taking care of the dog. And then the fight just escalates from there. And at some point during that back and forth, Luke says, I'm constantly being disrespected by a 20-year-old. When he said that to me, it makes cognizant that he's aware of their age difference in so much he feels that he should be able to boss her around because he's older and because he's been a financial provider for her, even though we know his finances are a mess. He's been a financial provider for her to get her businesses started, to pay her rent, things like that. So in that relationship, in that sentence, he's acknowledging a terrible power dynamic that he's wanting to take advantage of, to me.
I'm going to leave that alone for a minute because I want to put it into how I'm seeing things before I address that. So we're going to circle back on the disrespect 20-year-old stuff and him taking advantage. He says he doesn't want to have a life without her. And he bought her this beautiful dog, super cute, love dog, super cute. And he allegedly had to move some money around because the dog cost $2,000. I'm trying to, you came with $3,000. So where did this $2,000 come from? Because even for your wedding, you said you had no extra dollars and you guys had to take some things out. So I'm not sure what you moved around to get this $2,000 dog, but here it is. The second thing I want to say, during the holiday season, you guys, there are so many animals that need to be adopted, and they're just as cute. Consider adopting or fostering before you go and spend a bunch of money on a dog and a breeder, because there are a lot of pets out there that could and do deserve wonderful homes. But they get this dog. Her or his name, I'm not even sure, but the dog's name is Cairo. She already has another dog named Angel. So now she has two cute dogs that she wanted that he somehow miraculously was able to purchase. The wedding's less than a week away. And so this was like a peace offering, or let me buy your happiness, or whatever this dynamic that these two have. I personally think that they both are not doing the right thing for this relationship. Luke asks her, are you still mad at me? I'm just trying to figure out like what's happening here. Are we back together? And Madeline says her love language is for the man to take care of her and be of service to her, to take care of her, to be of service to her, and to make her feel special. Those are her love languages. So let's translate take care of me. So financially, I need you to take care of me. I need you to be, quote unquote, her words, the provider. Service to me, you have to do all the things that I want you to do and make me feel special. So I want that princess, queen, whatever you want to call it, right? So again, this is the first point I want to make to you, Abby. I think that if two people are setting themselves up for a specific type of relationship and they're both taking on roles, then those roles are what you're taking on. So if you're saying, I want this traditional relationship and I'm going to be the princess, and he's looking at it as the arm candy, then you know exactly what you're walking into. So, live up to those roles. If you're saying that your man has to be your provider, well, guess what? Even if Luke doesn't have it like that and he says he does, let's just in an alternate world say yes, he has it like that. He's buying $2,000 dogs, he's paying your rent, all the things. He's not telling you like he's up to his yin yang in debt, but just say he has it like that. Then he is coming up to his end of the deal as far as I'm concerned. So he wanted a trophy wife and he has to provide the sugar. Well, guess what? He got the trophy wife and he's providing the sugar, however he's getting it. So she then cannot complain about him providing for her and the things that he's doing, because you two both set yourself up in these specific roles. Again, I'm not saying either or is correct, but I'm saying if you're assuming a role, you gotta be that role. So she's forgiven him. So in my opinion, this is my point two to you, Abby, is that if she wasn't that and she was so taken aback by him and so disgusted with him and so angry with him, all of that, she wouldn't have forgiven him and move forward with a wedding. But she wants the things that she wants, and so far he's providing, even though they fight through it. She said, okay, yeah, I forgive you. You bought me a $2,000 dog, and that's okay. I'm going to be cautious, but I'm going to forgive you, so we're going to move forward. What? You have had no communication. You two both are still fighting. You didn't resolve your initial issue, but he bought you something. So you said, yeah, okay, I'm going to forgive you. Again, two wrongs don't make a right. I feel like she has to take responsibility for that part as well. So then the wedding's the weekend. They're going to Guadalupe. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know, you guys. The marriage is back on. Things are still rocky, they're rocky because you guys have had no communication and you guys have not discussed your issues. Your issues are going to continue to follow you if you don't discuss and resolve them. Buying material stuff just to put a Band-Aid is not going to even be a Band-Aid. It's just going to be like, this is nice for the moment, and you're going to keep it pushing. And guess what? Your issues are going to follow you. She expects to be treated like a queen. She expects her man to do all of the manual things. So we're back to the traditional roles in a relationship. And he feels like not only does she want him to be the provider financially, but also do all the manual things, do the cooking, do the cleaning, pay all the bills. And again, he's starting to resent that because his role, he said, yeah, I'll be the provider if you're going to be and provide the sugar, but you got to then do all the other things. So you have to do the cooking and the cleaning and, you know, be in lingerie while you're making me and serving me dinner. These are the things that he's thinking that he's getting. And she's pushing back because she also wants to find herself and be an independent woman because she runs a business and she's been taking care of herself since she was 13, 16 years old, very young. So in my opinion, she's struggling with wanting the traditional life and to be taken care of, but also she's 23 years old, so she's also finding herself and realizing that she can do it for herself. And so she's now resenting him because she wants to do it for herself, but she also wants his money to do the things that she wants to do for herself. So again, two of them are in situations where you're acting like you want these roles, but you're not fully developed in the roles. Luke doesn't really have money like that, but he's acting like it. Yes, she's a beautiful young girl, but she's also finding herself. So she wants all that he can provide, but she also wants to be able to do what she wants to do because she's finding who she is because she's only 23 years old. She says, her words, paying rent and the bills is a minimum that a man can do. But I also know, Madeline, that you went and bought your own condo. So like, why are you acting like these stereotypes are what you really believe? Because you're doing it for yourself. But are you doing it for yourself because you really want to do for yourself and have that hard journey and run a business and all of the stuff, even though I know your business is now closed, but you attempted to go after your goals? But or do you not want to take the risk with your own money and you want to use someone else's money? Because that's saying something completely else about your character. So I'm just trying to figure out, what is it that you want? Or maybe you don't know what you want because you're still young and trying to figure it out. But if it's that, you can't then jump back into the stereotype and say, well, I need you to pay all the rent and the bills, but don't question what I want to do with my life and my money. That doesn't make sense to me. So coming back to what you were saying, Luke feels he sacrificed a lot to make her happy and he does not feel appreciated and he feels disrespected by a 20-year-old. So full circle, Luke, you allowing yourself to be disrespected because you wanted a pretty young thing on your side. You went to another country and, you know, skimmed on that passport bro mentality. You found your pretty young thing and now you're trying to live up to something that maybe you weren't fully equipped to deal with because you are not who you're presenting to be. Madeline, I need you to go and spend another 5 years on your own. Go and date, be free, and figure out who you are. If you do want to be the traditional traditional role housewife, then be that, but then be prepared to be all those things that is associated with that. If you want something else, which you absolutely can get because we've seen you achieve so many things, then go and do that and then find the perfect balance for you. But this dynamic where you two are jockeying for, hey, just give me your money and I'm going to do what I want, and he's like, no, I'm going to give you the money, but I also need the sugar behind it. It's a disaster. Period. He thinks he gives her a pretty good life, but also thinks that she's always mad at him. And she's like, yeah, because you never make me happy. Well, can I circle back to the top of your segment where he bought you a $2,000 dog and you acted happy and you accepted that gift and you forgave him and you decided to move forward with the wedding? I'm going to need you to take some responsibility for your own actions as well. That's what I had to say.
There's actually a pretty easy solution to their issues. Maybe 2 episodes back, we saw Madeline say, like, we're not working out as a couple, so let's figure out what we're going to do about these joint ventures that we have together. And Luke wouldn't even entertain that conversation to talk about how to divide different things that they've started together, companies, properties, whatever it was, because he was still pursuing the relationship. So I mean, the easier solution for Luke, if he feels so disrespected and he feels like that what he's doing is not enough, would have been to say, okay, here's my offer about what to do with these joint ventures that we have together. But instead, he persisted upon pursuing this relationship. Do I expect that Madeline, in her position and in her background, is going to decline someone buying her gifts and paying for things for her, no matter how frustrating it is? Not really. I mean, like, I hear you. Like, I completely understand you saying she needs to be responsible for her role in it, but I don't think that she's going to do more than we've already seen her do. We've seen her say, I don't want this. We don't work out. We fight all the time. Let's figure out what to do with our businesses that we have together. And he just completely rejected that.
Well, then why did she take him back, Abby? Why did she take the $2,000 dog that she said that she wanted and he got it for her, and then proceed to take him back and move forward with the wedding? Like, why would she do that then?
My guess would be is that for some people, marriage is survival. Marriage is not if I really love you, if I really am aligned with you. It is where can I find some security? And if you've lived in insecurity, then no matter how much you accumulate, you're always looking for, okay, what's the next thing that I can have to keep me safe? You know? So my guess would be, I don't know, you know, my guess would be that Luke looks like security because remember, we know his financial issues, but she doesn't. So he looks like security. So she might be looking around at all the men who are around her and saying, this one makes me angry, but I already know him. We also know that the brain is kind of like the brain is wired to go back to what we know, even if that situation wasn't great. So the pool of men is not fantastic to start with. And here's one who at least pays the bills, at least I would be able to fall back on his finances. And I already know the ways in which he does make me angry. So perhaps he's a more valid choice than the other men. She also lives in a country and a culture where choosing to be single is not really that big of a thing. Like being partnered is where the status is, it's where the respect is. So it's probably not in her mind, really. Just let me be alone.
I'm gonna ponder that. Yeah, I'm gonna ponder that because, you know, I don't know if I really think that that's what it is. Like, I think that she could do it. I just think that she doesn't want to do it. Like you said, I guess the stability is what she's looking for. Because, you know, we met her as a pageant girl. We met her like winning pageants when she just barely started that year. So she has the ability to make some things happen, but it's definitely scarier when you're doing it on your own. If you have a financial cushion that's not your money to fall back on, then yeah, most people are going to take that. They're going to take that and run with it. But I just don't know if she's so young, falling into a pattern where, you know, you are relying on a man when clearly you're trying to also be an independent woman. I don't know. It's a catch-22 as far as I'm concerned. I think that she could probably do better if she knew better, but I also think that she has to absolutely own up to what she's doing.
Yeah. I don't think that we socialize women that way. I mean, even here in the US, where I would say that we experience a bit more feminism than in other parts of the world, we don't really raise women to believe that we can be successful on our own. We still raise women to believe that no matter if you have started an organization, a successful company, you wrote books, you exercise every day, you eat healthy, like no matter what you do, somebody's going to ask you, are you dating? How's your love life going? It's never going to be that you're enough. So why do we expect a woman who's 20 years old to self-actualize when some of us haven't done it in our 40s?
Valid point. That is very, very, very true, Abby. Very true. Okay. Touche. Touche. Yeah, that's the episode, you guys. That was it. I don't know, y'all. I'm finding a lot of just issues with all of these relationships. If I'm looking like Manon, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, girl. But woof. And Chloe and Johnny, we just know that that's an age thing and a privilege thing. Sumit and Jenny are the couple that we just know them. We just know them. So what can I mean? 10, 100 years later, it's Jenny and Sumit. They are who they are. And Madeline and Luke, we'll see. I think they're both misrepresenting themselves, and that's why that relationship is not going to work. That's
Yeah. I'm still rooting for all of the women. I'm still rooting for all of the women. Like the older I get and the more relationships I experience, I meet women who are so smart and so capable, who have been thwarted in so many ways by our societal rules on romantic relationships. So I'm just rooting for all women to find their way out of it and grow and find peace.
I love that
wherever
about
that
you.
may be.
I love that about you. You're definitely a champion for women and cheerleaders. You're a champion for women and you cheer them on. That's what I meant to say. And I love that about you. I am a eternal optimistically skeptical individual. I want the best for everyone, but I also don't want you to be just stupid and selfish and stereotypical. I want you to know that you're beautiful and strong and you can do whatever you want to do. And you can, here's what I think. I think you could be successful. I think you could be beautiful. I think you could be strong. I think you could be independent. And I also think that you could want and be loved and cherished and be in a partnership that gives you all the things that are important to you in a relationship. I don't think one has to sacrifice or cancel out the others. I think you can have it all. And I think going back to what Abby said, I think that we're not taught that. We're taught, hey, you need to have a husband. That's the only way you're going to be complete. Or you need to be a mother. That's the only way you're going to be complete. And I'm saying every woman's path is different. And whatever you're bringing to the table, you're bringing to the table. And that is fantastic. And keep going. And whatever you desire, you guys, you deserve it. And don't let anyone make you feel that you don't. And if you are, I'm going to just go on this TED Talk real quick. If you are a sexual being and you're out there being a sexual being, be that and don't let anyone label you. If you're dressing up for yourself, I saw this thing that angered me on social media today. This girl comes out with her husband and she's all dressed up and he looks at her and he walks away. She goes back inside, changes into sweats, and then he's all like, oh, come here. And dress for yourself. If you dress however you want to dress, whatever makes you feel beautiful, you don't need to be validated by someone or change who you are or downgrade or downplay because you have a partner who is in essence insecure and doesn't want anyone else to look at you. And so they want you to look a certain way so no one else will look at you, because that's a form of power and control. So whatever it is you feel beautiful in, whatever makes you comfortable, do that. Try that for a little while. I promise you, you'll feel a lot better. All right. I've done like 4 TED Talks in an hour. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Abby, any last words on your end for this episode?
No, even though this was a short episode, this was a great conversation. So many issues. So share with a friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
100%, you guys. We'll see you on Friday for 90 days before the 90 days. That show is going to be wild. I already know.
Yes. Yes.
All right, guys. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe.